I look too black on camera, that's a good segue into this episode of Blunt Conversations with myself, Twylisha, and
Rosemary.
Today, we're going to be talking about colorism.
Now, for those of you who are new, we have given you plenty of episodes to like us for lots of things, and this may be where we part ways. Deuces.
Bye. If you have to go, I understand. But if you stay with us, kudos to you.
So, for those of you who don't know, we're two black women, and I'm assuming that you figured out that Twylisha is black. I am a little bit more.
I'm sorry. Could you tell that I was black? Newsflash, I'm black. So, that's cool, right?
I am biracial, but I identify as black because I was poor and had the typical black upbringing of depravity, and trauma. So, like, fight me.
Not
But I do identify as black. But there's a lot of people who are biracial that I believe we both don't classify as black. And we are going to piss off a lot of people with this episode. So let's get the
joint blunt. Light your joint, light your blunt, get your bong, get your dabs, whatever you gotta get, because it's not gonna be like the most fun. I mean, I have fun with it because I like to see people sweat, but other people don't have fun with it.
I like talking. I actually like this conversation when you get to have it with people who are open-minded and a little bit introspective. You know, I've had this conversation more times than I'd like to because I am biracial, and there's always this thing of, since I was born, what are you? What are you? And it's not because a lot of times I know that they're trying to quantify my value on what to treat me on based on what my race is. At me. It's the fucking truth. I don't care. So,
debate your raggedy ass granny. It's the truth. Like, we are not gonna sit up here and act like outliers are the rule.
They're not. And that goes for biracial mixed children too. Like, here's the thing. As a rule, people are always like, oh, we should be blending of the races, blah, blah, blah. It's bullshit. It's bullshit because we don't have a system that's set up for it. I said it at me. My father was black and my mom was white. And here's the thing. When now you want to say, oh no, but people should love each other and things should quit, blah, blah, blah. But when you look at, generally, again, the rule, when you look at these biracial children, they are not coming from the higher echelons of each race getting together and making some fucking magical unicorn mixed kid. That's not what's happening. It's usually the dregs of either side of whatever race, you know, who have been ostracized for whatever behavior or whatever mental, like whatever is going on that they don't choose to mess in their own group for whatever reason, they usually get together with someone from the outside race. And I'm speaking from experience. And
this is her this is her perception of the interracial dating and subsequent mixed kid situation. I, obviously not being mixed, not blatantly mixed. We can get into like my ethnicity and my ethnic makeup if you want, but black. Like, nobody's gonna see me and be like, oh my god, what are ya?
No. Are you Haitian or Jamaican?
Right. They're not asked, oh, are you Haitian? Are you from the Ivory Coast? Like, nobody cares. I'm black. But I have a brother who I had a brother. He's passed away. Sad. Yes. But I'm dealing with it.
We'll insert his picture.
Yes. Insert picture of my fine ass mixed brother. Okay. So, anywho, I have a brother and he's mixed. His father's white. We don't share a father, obviously. That could be another conversation for another time. But I grew up seeing how uncomfortable he was being the only light-skinned person in the household, because I'm dark-skinned, my mother's dark-skinned, and my other brother is dark-skinned, and my brother that I'm talking about right now that's mixed is obviously light-skinned because he's half black, half white. So I grew up hearing the story of the day my mother brought me home from the hospital. She's coming home. It's her first little girl. She's all excited. She's going to show her sons, like, here's your baby sister. And my brother looks into my crib and he goes, I'm the lightest one in the family. And then he just walked away. That's the story I grew up hearing, and that's the mood and the feeling that I always got from my brother regarding his white Caucasian ancestry.
That's the majority of mixed kids do not have a place. Like, I grew up in the opposite, because I grew up mostly predominantly around my Italian family, white family, and I was ostracized for it. And I didn't have anybody that had, hair like me that got... it's funny because my Italian relatives actually got darker than me. But I experienced racism in all kinds of ways, and like in microaggression. Even my relatives who thought they weren't racist were blatantly racist. Like but they didn't know. So like, I've always been looking for, because I'm biracial, I've always been looking for that. How does this work? Like, why do people, like, where's the, besides Obama? Don't talk to me about Obama.
Again,
outliers.
Don't make up the rule. Like, the rule is the rule, and exceptions make the rule. They don't break the rule. But,
for the most part, yeah.
Like, that's the mood I always had, and I always kind of felt for my brother, because he felt so... He identified as a black man, and I mean, honestly, he didn't really have a choice, because his white father was unreal. Like, my brother's older than me, and I've never met his father. And then his father died, so obviously then I didn't get a chance to meet him. But he was so disconnected from his white parentage that when my other brother, my dark-skinned brother, who started to date a white woman, my family is a good little microcosm of colorism and weird stuff that it makes you do. Anyway, my other dark-skinned brother started dating this white woman, and
the typical white woman that you would picture with a black man.
Anyway, we're not going to do that. My family will be mad. They already mad at me, but whatever.
We can insert all the memes on Facebook of all those couples.
Insert
all the black dudes with the white women. Like,
insert the memes. Anyway, he would call her the alien. Like, he didn't even consider her like a person. So, but this is somebody who's half white. You know what I mean? But because of whatever, he didn't want to be white. But he wanted to be black like the rest of our family. But he wasn't. And he was never going to be seen as white. Like, that ever. Too. He was never going to... Like, I'm never going to be seen as white. Like, that's not a thing. Like, he's going to be seen as a black man. So why would he want to identify as a person that he has no... There's no way for him. Like, honestly... There would be no way for him. Like, and that, I think, is part of the reason why I like to have this conversation. And I like to have this conversation with Rose, because she's one of the first light-skinned women and people that I spoke to that admitted that there is a light-skin privilege, admitted that colorism impacts our lives in these different ways, but also... Like, we talk about racial ambiguity and the way that it impacts how you move through society. And my brother did not have racial ambiguity. He didn't. He was light-skinned, but he just would be read as a light-skinned black man. Whereas, someone like Meghan Markle, let's say, she's got a lot more wiggle room, especially... if she does her hair certain ways, if she dresses a certain way. There's a lot that someone in that position can do to identify with their white parentage if they so choose. And my brother just didn't have that choice. There's nothing he was going to do was ever going to make him appear like a white man. It just wasn't going to happen for him.
And that happens a lot of the time. Like, the thing about it is when you mix the races, there's always this vision of this just like perfectly blended kid, and it's not what happens.
Everybody thinks they're gonna get a Zendaya, or they're gonna get a Janae Aiko, or everybody's not gonna get that. Like, everybody's not gonna get that.
My mom talked about my baby hair, and I will remember this to the day I die. But she said that I had the most beautiful curly hair, and then it fell out, and a Brillo pad grew back. And that is how I always felt about my hair for a long time, until I got to accept my natural state. And again, my mom loved me. Probably didn't think she was racist. Was that statement racist? Yes, Mom.
And was that statement damaging to this child?
Self-esteem.
You know what I mean? Like,
and how I felt about my hair.
You have somebody who's now in society. Rose is going to be looked upon at the very least as maybe like a Latina. You know what I mean? She's not going to be seen as white.
No.
But you have this black girl, this half black girl, and with all the other mire of bullshit that goes on with our hair, you have a white woman bringing up this black girl and telling her that her hair, like comparing it to a Brillo pad, and then she's in a situation where she doesn't have any other black people around her. Mm-hmm. So that message is probably reinforced by others in her life. And now you got a complex.
Yeah.
And you got a complex. Why? Because everyone thinks it's so cute to be, let's mix the races. Let's, But then her black daddy did what? Had a baby with some white woman and then birded off somewhere and didn't offer her any protection or didn't offer her any kind of introduction into what black life is like or what it means for her to act like. She had to learn all that on her own.
I mean, and what I learned is that it's just hard. But what I don't want to do, and I don't want this episode to turn into, is like poor little light-skinned girl, because there's a ton of that on YouTube. Go click over to any other yellow bitch. I guarantee you she's right now like, I'm so pretty and my life's so hard. Fuck you, bitch.
And I'm definitely not trying to hit the poor little light-skinned girl angle. That was more like the daddyless daughter / like poor little light-skinned kid who doesn't have both sides. And a lot of times you don't get both sides. A lot of times these little mixed kids be from broken homes. Let's say that they be from broken homes.
And there's this pressure to identify as one or the other because of systematic racism. There is no point where they're just like, oh, we're black. No, there is a pressure to be like, oh, what do you feel more of? And it's like, I will say this about my mother. The best thing she ever did for me and my siblings was she told me that there's no way to act black and no way to act white. You can only act like a stereotype. And I always remembered that, and it just stuck in my head that like I can't be acting one way or acting one way. But you hear that all the time. Maybe a little less now, but
you do. Like, I don't get the acting black thing because I mean, it's weird. Because I've always been interested in language and I was always an advanced reader and I liked to, she's got
an extensive vocabulary. I'm very impressed by her vocabulary.
I do. I have a very extensive vocabulary. And I just used to read all the time when I was little. But also part of that was because a lot of times we didn't have electricity. So I couldn't be like playing video games or watching TV as much as I may have wanted to because you need electricity for those things.
Again,
and a lot of times
growing up black and poor. Same. Grew up, we didn't have all the things, so I read because we wanted to be busy.
You gotta sit around, stare at the walls. But all of that, my already just an innate interest in language and then reading and consuming material like that, and also I have like a high-pitched voice. So when I was in middle school and high school and stuff, like it was always, why are you talking like a white girl? Why you sound like a white girl? Especially when I started like to date and talk to people on the phone. You're in middle school and like you get somebody gives your phone number to a boy and some old bullshit. So I would do that thing, but then there would be a lot of like, you sound like a white girl. You sound like a white girl. And then like, I remember not knowing really what to do with that because I at the time wasn't taking it to do anything with my language and, the words that I chose to use. I more took that as the tone and the quality of my voice was like that of a white woman. And I didn't know, I was just like, I don't know what to do with this. People like, it's my voice.
Don't even know the messages they're relaying to you by saying these things. Like that's a thing too. Like you don't know. You're like, I don't know what you mean when you're saying this. People are getting on my nerves. I'm sorry.
So it'll be that. I would sound like a white girl over the phone, but then, I was getting all these messages about not just black women, but specifically dark-skinned black women. Like, I think I was in the 6th grade, so I was like 11 maybe. The first time, like, I have like a vivid memory of another black person like being really out of left field rude to me because I was dark skinned and insinuating that because I was dark skinned I should be happy that he even would deign to interact with me. And I'm just like, it was such a weird conversation, but I never forgot it. Like, he wanted me to be in his little study group or whatever. He was a bad student, so I was like, no. Also, I don't like group projects, but I was just like, no, I don't want to be in your group because, like, you're a bad student. And he just looked at me like so incredulous. Like, I just remember to this day, and I remember his name. I won't say his name. But he did one of those like, what the fuck does bitch mean? No. And so I'm looking at him like, does he not know that he's a bad student? Like, I don't. And he's like, well, what do you mean you don't want to work with me? You don't want to be in my group? And I was like, I just don't. Because I'm not trying to be rude. I don't want to be like, because you're a stupid ass bad student and you're like, you drag my grade down. I didn't want to say that. I don't like epic conversations. I don't really like confrontations. I'm not trying to argue with people over stupid shit like, because I don't want to be in your group. That doesn't need to be an argument.
I feel like a lot of time intelligence is misread as some kind of arrogance when you're just dismissive of something that you don't want to partake in because you're like, no thank you, and people just will not accept that. And you're
people do not like it when you don't want to do what they want to do. It makes them really uptight. But I was just like, no. And so then he's like, you should be happy I even asked you, like real nasty, like. And so now I'm like completely caught off guard because I'm like, whoa, why such a strong tone shift? How did we get here? And I was like, what? Why? And he's like, you're the darkest girl in this class. Like, this is the weirdest conversation I've ever had in my life with another kid. He's like, you're the darkest girl in this class. And I was like, in my mind, I'm trying to connect, like, I should be happy to work with this bad student because I'm dark skinned. Like, what? Like, and when somebody says something that is absurd to me, like, a lot of times I'll just become speechless because I'm just like, well, what was I supposed to say back? No, I'm not like, what was that? I was just at a loss, and I was just,
there's a lot of men.
It was like stuff like that I'm just like, first of all, what does my skin tone have to do with this group project? And it's just that message. It's just that insinuation that I'm less than.
And I know that it's always there because, like, Twice not the first brown skinned friend of mine that has told me this. And it's like, if black people are kind of like we're experiencing racism and everyone's like, but nah. And you're like, no, really, we're experiencing racism on a regular basis. And you're like, but like, no, too many brown skin of my friends have told me that men have said things like that to them or ignored them completely.
That's another thing too.
A good friend of mine, she said to me one time that she didn't like going out with me sometimes because it made her feel like she was invisible, because it was like walking, she used to say it was like walking her pet unicorn. And I didn't like when she said that, she laughed at it and was trying to be playful, and I was like, well, what do you mean? Because like, I don't want to make my friends feel bad, like, what do I gotta do? And she was like, like, you're just out with a light-skinned girl and dudes don't pay you any attention. And mind you, I'm not paying any dusty niggas any attention. But she was saying she didn't even have the option to turn down these dusty niggas because they was talking to me. And I was like, I'm sorry, you feel like that. Like, I feel bad. Like, you didn't want that dusty nigga to talk to you, did you? Because, yeah. But also, like, I'm sorry that is a thing that you experience when you're around me, because you know that's not what I want.
And that's and that's the thing. That's a real life thing. Like, I have a lot of pretty friends. I'm not one of those weird girls who's like, I'm gonna just hang out with ugly people so I could be the star of the show. I think that's a really weird vibe.
That is totally a thing, and you bitches need to look around some of your friends, because you might be that, like, you might need to upgrade your friend because your friend's using you.
Being super weird. So, you know, I have a lot of pretty friends, but also, contrary to what you may have heard, I have a lot of light-skinned friends. Like, and it's not like I'm out here seeking out light-skinned friends. It just happens. Like, if I meet somebody, she's fucking cool, and she's light-skinned, I'm still gonna be her friend. Like, I'm not a weirdo. So I have a lot of friends who are lighter than me. And then also, growing up, all my friends were smaller than me. So there was like, it was like a double whammy. I'm dark skinned, and I'm like, I guess I'll say fat, but I really wasn't. Like, I was fat as fuck. And you can insert any picture of me at any point. You know, being in the late 90s, early 2000s, like the heroin chic and all that shit. I think we went over that when we talked about a little of the body episode. But I had both of those things going against me. So I really understood, like, when she was telling me about her friend, I understood what her friend was saying. It's like, it's nothing you could do. Like, it's not, you're not doing anything personally except for existing in a colorist society and a light skin presentation. And ain't nothing you can do about that. Just like I can't do anything about me existing in a colorist society in a dark skin presentation. This is just how I can. Like,
sidebar, I feel like the only thing I can compare it to is when I go out and Twi's titties are out. Because then I'm invisible. When her titties are out, I don't exist. Nobody sees anything but cleavage.
When my titties are out, I don't even exist.
Like, but I know that that's a valid thing, and like I know, and like, and again, I've had other brown skinned women say that to me, and I'm just like, I have to empathize with it. I don't do that thing that a lot of light skinned girls do, and that's like, oh, you know, I was picked on too. Sometimes it's not the same thing, and also it's just not. And one difference I did have with the colorism exposure is I grew up predominantly around white people. So to them, and this is the 80s, I was the 8-track mixed kids. It was not cool to be a mixed kid. It's not like it's trending now. It was not a thing. It was always an accident. It was always like, how'd you get here? So I had, you know, a totally different experience with having only being around white people and feeling like I was always treated less than. Like, and because I had this stereotype, I don't want to be portrayed as a black woman, I was told like I couldn't be loud. And that's something that people associate. I am loud. But mostly it's from my Italian side, so fuck you. But that's something that people will associate to more brown skinned people. And so, but I was told like, oh, you know, you don't want to be the loud black girl. And I'm just like, what the fuck is that? What the fuck is that? Again, as a kid, I didn't know what they meant, you know.
I feel like Salem is crying at the door. Salem? Did you want to come inside? She's just gonna want to leave after I shut the door.
And she's so obnoxious.
Hi, BBs.
She hears us talking. Anyway, so yeah, I definitely know it's a thing that exists for brown women, and I feel bad about it, and I just am always like,
the don't be loud thing. Look how quickly she wants to go.
Ridiculous.
Look at you. Because you interrupted, you have to make an appearance.
Oh, I know.
BBs. Hi.
It's Salem.
She doesn't like it. She does not like to be on camera or picked up. Okay, Salem. Goodbye. Interrupt the show for what? Nothing. Anyway, the don't be loud thing, like, I think that becoming an adult person and working in a job, this is Salem trying to kick in the door.
I don't know.
She's a hot mess. Anyway, becoming an adult person, and I pretty much worked in, I'll say, corporate America. I mean, I worked for a nonprofit, but it was like a legal nonprofit, and I helped prosecutors, and it was really just, it made me feel kind of dirty. Like, I just was like, what are we doing here? But, I felt how much I was like, tempering myself. It's not like I'm some loud, obnoxious black woman, but I can get excited. I have things that I like. I talk with my hands, obviously.
And she was not going to work like this. We've already talked about it. You have not established that she is a makeup artist.
Imagine me showing up to my nonprofit legal job in this wig.
I just be forgetting. Sometimes I feel like she forgets that she's like having this conversation, and I'll be like, "Listen, people, hello." But no, she was not going. And that's another thing. Let's talk about the fact that to get her job, what did you do to your hair?
Oh yeah, so I straightened it. I straightened my hair, and because honestly, as a black person in general, but especially as a dark-skinned black person, like I have no idea what I'm walking into when I'm going to apply for jobs. I'm going into interviews and things like that, especially living in upstate New York. Like people forget that like New York City saves New York. New York would not be blue if not for the city, because it's crazy upstate. Like it's just a bunch of crazy rednecks upstate. So you don't know what you're walking into. You don't know if the person's going to be racist or not. If they don't like you look too black or whatever. And it's like, I'm already dark skinned, so there's not nothing I could do about looking too black. But my hair, my natural hair, y'all seen it.
Listen, she does not have the luxury to go in there with her natural hair, especially with her name being Twilisha and being a brown skin woman. Let's be fucking real. And y'all can say she should go in there any way she wants and blah, 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 blah. But if she's trying to get a fucking job that is really, really, she knows her best chances are to straighten her hair.
It's not realistic. And I wish people would stop and think for a minute. Like, I understand where they're coming from when they're like, well, I shouldn't have to straighten my hair. Just like I shouldn't have to lock my door at night because people shouldn't come in the house and steal all my things. But they do. You know what I mean? Like, I shouldn't have to straighten my hair. I shouldn't have to hide my name on resumes and go by my middle name because it's Lynn and it's unassuming. I shouldn't have to do that. But I live in racist ass America and I still have to pay the bills. I'm the only person who is going to take care of me. So I can't be out here on a fucking crusade if I've been unemployed for 5 months and I need to get a job. Like, that was the situation that was my legit situation. I had been looking for work for 5 months and it was striking out everywhere. And finally I got this interview at this place that seems like, I'm not going to have to be working in a call center. It's not retail. It's not some ridiculous low paying job. So I'm like, yeah, I want this job. That means I have to straighten my hair, sit up straight, and pretend my name is Lynn, and talk like this, and I'm gonna fucking do that shit, because I got rent to pay. Like, I can't be on a crusade that day. I don't have the luxury.
And that's the world we live in. And that's when we say we want to talk about colorism, like, that's the conversation we want to have about it. Not that it's, like, we're not saying that everyone's a fucking evil demon out here fucking trying to make, but I'm just saying you can be aware of your own thing so that you can make those little changes in how colorism affects everybody else.
I think when Rose and I first started hanging out and walking together and stuff, I was like explaining to her, I was like, oh, my job is so annoying. Like, I've been trying to get a new one forever and I can't, like, I barely even get called back. And I was like, and I don't get it. I was like, because I've been having people help me write my resume and this and that. I've been doing all the things. Like, I'm not a fucking idiot. And I was like, I hate to say it. I was like, I just think it's my name. And I was like, and I know that sounds stupid. I was like, but I really think it's my name. And I was telling her, being that we live in the time that we live in, it's more and more difficult for me to conceal my first name if I'm trying to go for a traditional thing, because a lot of times you have to do it online. And it's not going to accept, you know what I mean, like,
your alias.
It just doesn't work like that.
And like, when she told me, I was like, yeah, I know. I'm sorry. Because I knew 100% that's what it was. Like, she's got a great resume. She's smart. She can do whatever. Like, it's her name. Like, and I hate to be like that, but like, it was like, duh, yeah, I know. And like, my brother, he had to go through this because my dad named him because my mom lived by anyway. So he's got a very ethnic name. He looks like me but bald with an ethnic name.
And that's the flip side, because Rose is like, oh, I've never had a problem getting a job.
Not a day of my life. I show up, my name is Rosemary, and then this shows up with my hair in a bun. Who the fuck's not gonna hire me? Excuse me. Like, I know I'm getting a job. Like, I've got a great name, and I show up and I look like my name. Like, they want to see
and
me.
I show up and I look like my name, even with my hair straightened and talking like this, and yes, and so it's like, I want people to stop and think when they're spitting that rhetoric out at someone who's talking about the things that they're doing so that they can support themselves, so that they can have a job and living in this shoulda, woulda, coulda world. If somebody has to do that, yeah, it fucking sucks that you'd have to work around the kind of people who wouldn't hire you with your natural hair. But what sucks more? Like, having to go to work and fucking put up with that, or I don't know, getting evicted because you couldn't get a job because you live in a racist society and nobody's having your... You know what I mean? Like, I don't have the luxury. I don't have the time. At that time, like I said, I'd been out of work for 5 months, and I was like, you goddamn right I'm straighten my hair. You goddamn right I'm going to go and do everything that I know within my power to make sure that these white people feel comfortable. Because that's what I had to do. I have to make white people comfortable. Always. It's dangerous for me if I don't.
Well, I like to segue to making money and our colorism thing. Because since we're talking about it, because yeah, she had to straighten her hair. But here's the thing too, that I've told this to Twy, like, I'm very honest about the fact that, yeah, I will lean into my light skin if it's going to help me get a job. Because I didn't get shit from being, listen, I'm black. I'm poor. My dad was in prison. If the only little benefit I got was that this fake fucking fetishism y'all have with light-skinned women, like, I'm going to use it to my advantage to get a job to feed my kids. Like, what the fuck? Like, absolutely. I got, like, yeah, I'm in media. I know that the fact that I'm not fugly helps me get jobs. Like, duh. I can admit that.
I said the same thing. Like, I tell people all the time, the job that I had that I left before I came here, I know I got the job because I'm pretty and I speak well and I dress well.
But more importantly, at the end of the day, she also could do the job.
I mean, yeah. But I know I got the job based upon the package that came. You know, yeah, I'm dark-skinned black girl, but I'm pretty and I'm smart and I speak well and I dress well, and people like that. People like, I was basically like the first person you see when you would come into the agency. So yeah, they want somebody who is personable and charismatic and pretty and got all their teeth and all that good shit.
I did the same thing for the state. That's what I was doing. I was just like, I don't care. I'll be up. Like, but I could do the job. Like, at the end of the day, I could do the job and I could do it well. But yeah, this is what got me in. You goddamn right. This is what got me in the door. If that's what gets you in the door,
you're supposed to use it. So, you know, back to colorism. You know what I mean? Like, bringing up Megan again. Yes, she was able to use her pretty, light-skinned, white-passing privilege, okay, to get into the royal family. And I was like, that ain't got shit to do with me as a black woman. Because until I see some chocolate princess, until I see Lupita in the royal family, that ain't got shit to do with me, that Meghan Markle. Like, all these black women were celebrating and stuff, and I was like, that ain't got nothing to do with y'all. That's for white people, basically. Like, that's for white people and light-skinned people who are delusional and don't realize that the reason she's there is because she's white passing.
Oh, let's get into these bitches, because can we talk about the video shoot?
The video, okay, so boom.
There are days I really don't like being light skinned, and this is one of those days, like a hard body. Oh,
yo, this day was so funny because I asked Rose to come with me to a video shoot that I had to do, but I was like, also come to my brother's wedding with me. That was another conversation. I'm not gonna say too much because that's my family and I love them. So, you know, whatever. We went to the wedding. It was a wedding. We left. We go to the video shoot. So I'm telling Rose a little bit about the weirdness that happened prior to the video shoot, before I even got there, because I was talking to the director and he was mentioning some black lights were going to be in use, and you know, I was like, well, let me come and make sure that the makeup and the pigments and stuff that I have is going to be reactive for the lights.
Oh, I can't wait to insert those photos because I took them and they were really cute.
Oh, we're really super cute. So I get there, I'm talking to the director, they got the room all charged up, all the black lights is popping, and I'm taking the pigments and I'm taking them and putting them on my skin and I'm showing them in the light. I was like, so this is, these colors are reacting, these ones aren't. I think, we're having an artistic conversation. He's been in this relationship with this suavemente Puerto Rican shorty. And
I love when she says that. I'm sorry.
So she's there. Why is she there? Who the fuck knows?
That's another conversation.
Is not a creative. She works for like the legislative committee or some weird shit like that. So I didn't understand why she was there, other than to just be up under her nigga's nutsack, which that gets on my nerves. As somebody who
move
works,
back to colorism.
I'm sorry. I just need to interject really quick. As someone who works in the creative field and on music video shoots, film sets and stuff, bitch, if you're not there to work, please go home. Nobody here is trying to fuck your nigga. We're at work. Would you be sitting up under your nigga's nutsack that work at the bank? I don't think you would. Anyway, so she's there. I'm showing the director how the fucking makeup's looking. She's like, oh, you know what? I think most of the girls in the shoot are light skinned. Like, how will it look on like my skin? And so like, more absurd things that are being said to me, and I'm always being put in a weird position. So I'm just like, okay. So I put some on her skin, and I was like, it reacts on light skin too. It's not just for dark skin. Like, the fuck? Like, so that conversation,
I was like, I really want to fade into the wall right now.
So I'm telling Rose that happened, and she's just like, weird. And so I was like, oh, but it gets better. It gets better.
Oh, so here's the thing. She's really focused on like getting her makeup station, and like I was helping her get ready, and there was weird props, but whatever. But then the girls started showing up. Now I was completely unaware.
She's jumping ahead.
Oh, sorry.
Because she wasn't even there yet. I'm still just telling her about the meeting beforehand. So I'm like, yeah. Oh. Then Shorty's like, babe, I really think you should have cast some dark-skinned girls for the shoot. Like, I don't think it's right that they're all light-skinned. That's not good. She said chocolate girls. Chocolate girls for the shoot. And then I already was just like, is this happening to me? And this is me by myself, just with the director and his fucking suavemente shorty. And I'm just like, why? I don't understand. I'm just trying to work, sis. Like, you're doing a lot. Because I don't even care. Whatever. So he's like, that's what the artist wanted. Whatever, like, he's just palms to the sky. I ain't got nothing to do with me. He wanted all light-skinned girls. So now the energy's doubly weird, because she's making it a thing, and I'm the only dark-skinned person here, and I'm just like, I don't want this to be a thing. And then he's like, hot potato, like, it ain't got nothing to do with me. And I'm just like, I mean, it kind of does, because you're the director, and, anybody could say, hey, it's kind of weird that everybody looks the same, but nobody did.
Here's the thing. I'm a creative, and my perspective was, I would have absolutely been like, I feel like the paint would have looked better on a darker skin tone to show up. So like, I wouldn't even, as a creative, I don't even go there. But then
so we get to the venue. Rose, I'm like, come with me. I'll just tell him you're helping me. Whatever. Whatever. At
this point, I was totally along for the ride.
So she's in there. She's helping me set up the station, like she mentioned, and like the models start coming in, like she mentioned. And one of the first girls, I know her from previous work, and she cool. Everybody's cool. Like, they're all cool girls. But they literally all look like the same girl. Like,
fucking paste.
Same height, like, same weight, curly, suave in their hair, light skin. Like, it was...
Oh, and I had, like, a wig on that night. And I remember being like... Oh,
and I'm working.
I'm so
like, I'm not like registering girls even per se. Like, no, it's almost like canvases are coming in. I'm working. I'm painting. I'm getting I had to do body paint and stuff. So and when I'm on set, like, I get really focused. And so, like, the things that are happening around me is just happening. So people are coming in and I'm getting a steady stream of models. And, like, at some point I'm like, oh, this is the last model. So once I know it's like the last person, I do start to relax up a bit, and take some pictures, be cute or whatever. And there was a point where, like, I just looked up and I was like, where did all these niggas come from? Because, like, there was a whole bunch of men in the room that I just didn't even register was there. And I'm, like, super boy crazy. So, if I don't notice you, anyway. But then I'm, like, trying to leave because it's COVID still. And wait. I'm going to get to it, Rose. So I asked the director, I'm like, hey, can I get my check so I could go? He's like, oh, you don't want to stay here and hang out? And I'm thinking to myself, with these lame niggas that fucking, no. I just want my check to go. So he was like, can you stay for like a half hour while we shoot just to make sure everything's fine? And I was like, all right, fine. I'll stick around for a little bit. So while I'm sticking around for a little bit, I'm just kind of in my phone. But something made me look up. And then when I looked up, I looked around and I was like, I'm the only dark-skinned woman in this room. There was a bunch of women in the room, but like I said, they was all copy-paste light-skinned bitches. And then I brought my light-skinned friend. And then there was like there was all these black men. All these unambiguously black men just filled the room. And all these fucking racially ambiguous women. And so I text Rose like, yo, because it was just a weird vibe. And so then she texts me back like, oh my God, that's racist. I'm sorry.
Now here's the thing. I had been taking it in the whole time, and like literally, the room was like an introverted Picasso painting, like not like a Monet, like all like black dots, and then like 7 light skinned specks with like long hair. And I had my freaking wig on that was long, but underneath I had like my set it off braids, and I was like, I feel like I should take off my wig because I felt horrible. I wanted to not be light skinned so bad because,
and for me,
but I had on the most clothes. I will say that.
Yeah, it was like a bunch of naked light skinned bitches, and then the niggas were being super weird, and all the girls were uncomfortable. Like they were all like, "Are you gonna leave? Please don't leave." And I was just like, "This is awkward," and it was wrong for so many reasons. So okay, let's start running down the reasons why that fucking video shoot was weird and colorist and made everybody fucking awkward. So you have all these, like I said, unambiguously black men. And then at one point, one of these unambiguously black men is like, yeah, I picked out all the girls myself. I got y'all all here. Like he was like super proud that he paid these models to be there. And I like the vibe was very much like, I had a party with my niggas. We paid some bitches to be there because we're lame. And we paid this nigga to videotape it so that we have proof that we had pretty light-skinned girls around us. It was like a super weird vibe. So, no, I don't want to stick around. Please pay me my money so I can get the fuck out of here. Also, I'm probably ruining his fucking light-skinned fantasy vibe. I said to Rose, I was like, they're probably pissed the fuck off that he hired a dark-skinned makeup artist. Like, how dare I?
I was so mortified. Like, I just hated it. I hated it so much. Like, literally, like, if you could, like, somehow video edit, like, 7 of me, like, in a line. Like, literally, that's what it was. And I was like, because, like, they were, like, naked in body paint, and I was just like, I'm sorry. I'm sorry this is fetishized. I'm sorry. And you know what? That's another thing.
And that was the thing. Most of the girls were also aware of what was happening, and they felt super fucking uncomfortable because it's weird when you fetishize people. I'm not a disembodied light-skinned vagina. Like, it was just such a weird vibe, and the girls were very much like, I don't want to be left alone with these weirdo niggas.
And we felt bad, but we
Is
definitely
that
left.
what- no,
We definitely left those with those weird ass niggas. We was like, we gotta go.
I hope y'all made it out because I didn't want to be there no more. Like,
It was super weird. But yeah, I hate it.
Oh, and then there was like a random white woman there that was like the manager of, I don't know what the fuck she was. She was the person who wrote my check. So,
of course. But whatever. But back to being fetishized, because here's the thing. One of my like top one turnoffs is when you say like, oh, all I date is light-skinned girls. I'm like, oh, I'm out. Why is that? Like, don't tell me that 10 seconds. Like, that's fucking weird. That's super creepy. I don't know why that's a thing you want to tell me. Like, I never understand it. Like, why is that the information you want me to know? That, like, that's the thing that, like...
And this is another reason why I was happy to befriend Rose, because there are light-skinned women who would be like, yeah, like they would think that was cool, and they would be like, oh, that's mad cute. And sis, why are you the way you are? You're being fetishized. That's super weird. Don't.
But here's the thing. Since we're talking about colorism, I'll tell you, there is a reason why I am the way I am. Because I said I grew up around white people who treated me like a black person. I feel like a lot of those light-skinned girls grew up around black people who leaned into that thing that is like, why are you so craving to be next to white people? That's weird.
That's a thing. That's definitely a thing in the black community. And that's a thing with colorism, where you have a situation where people are basically brainwashed. So even the dark-skinned people in the community who receive the harshest brunt of colorism lean into it and perpetuate it because they want light-skinned people around them. They want to mate with light-skinned people because that's as close as they're likely going to get to a white person. And I don't think that there's enough conversation that goes on about that, because that is exactly why the light-skinned girls exist that be like, oh my god, all you did is me. Because all their lives, they have been conditioned to believe that they're better than simply because they have light skin. So that's a reinforcement of that message that they've been getting all their lives.
I didn't get that, but I understand why. Like, again, I can understand why a white person's racist. It doesn't mean I'm cool with it. It just, that's the way it is. And my dad was twice color. So, like, it was super weird to me that he would love to brag about his little light bright baby. And I was like, but that's not the thing that looks like you.
And specifically, I'm pretty sure specifically his little light bright daughter. Because he also has some light-skinned sons. And I don't much hear you talk about him doting on them being light-skinned so much.
He loved, I was cute, but like, so what? Like, that's the thing. I have good genes. My parents, and also my mom was not the average ugly white woman. Like, she wasn't fugly. Like, I know there's a lot of like fugly white women, like fine black men. Like, my mom was a cute looking Italian woman and my dad was cute. So I had some good genes, but that's all I got. Don't stop making this happen. Like, take a fucking photo. Like, get a fucking pug. Like, yeah, I don't know what the answer is, but it's not me. I'm telling you right now. I promise you, it's not more of this.
And it's like, so Rose has that situation where she grew up with white people, so she was a black person. Like, just like any light-skinned person is when white people have entered the chat. Now you're black. But when I grew up around black people, so I was able to see what was going on in that community. I I understood that when white people entered the chat, we were all black. So I was just like, well, what the fuck? And I also understood that light don't equal cute. Like, there was plenty of ugly light-skinned boys and ugly light-skinned girls. It was a thing. Like, I wasn't drinking the Kool-Aid. But a lot of people were. Like, they just were. I remember being in middle school. By the time I got to middle school, I was really starting to have some, like, complexion issues. Like, I remember, because, like, if I get, like, a scar, it usually will heal up lighter than me. And I remember when I was, like, in the 6th grade, I had the weirdest thought. I was just like, I wish that I could just get, like, a slight burn all over my body so that, you know, when the scab fell away, I would be light skinned. Because, like, I had my light skinned older brother who, he didn't like being light skinned, but I saw how popular he was, and, you know,
I got 2 light-skinned brothers.
Everybody thought that he was so cool and he was so fine. I mean, he was fine, but I felt like nobody even knew I was there. So I was just like,
again, I've heard that so many times.
This would be cool. And that was a thought that I had. And it was crazy. Like, that's a crazy thought. But I just, in my mind, I was like, well, maybe that would, you know, that would make it so I could be light skinned. Like, that was the only way that I could figure it out at my age of, like, 11.
That's so cute. It's sad. I'm sorry.
But eventually, I found a way. Like, by the time I was in, like, 8th grade, I remember I would spend time in my mirror and I would be like, well, there's gotta be something here that you like. Because, like, by the time I was in the 8th grade, I had started, like, to get acne and stuff. It just wasn't. I didn't like this.
No girl in
like,
8th grade is cute. Like, none of you bitches were cute. And the ones who were, like, fuck you.
So, but I was like, well, this is crazy. There's hair in my mouth. It's because this crazy ass wig.
It's cute.
Y'all, I made a TikTok today. I would go outside like this, but I just made a TikTok and I just wanted to do my makeup.
The face goddess.
Anyway, but that was a detour. I would spend time and I would look in the mirror and I just started with my face, like, and I mean, I got close, like, it was intimate. It was like this. What do we like about ourselves, Twylisha? So, the first thing I liked were my eyes. I said, well, my eyes are very pretty. They're a pretty shape. And they're brown. And although most people seem to not like brown eyes, I liked my brown eyes. I thought they were beautiful. I liked the way they caught the light. And when that song, Pretty Brown Eyes, would come on, I was like, well, that's for me. Mm-hmm. So I liked my eyes. And from there, over time, like, I started to, like, look at my skin and really like my complexion and my tone. And I got to the point where, like, I started to recognize, like, my skin tone is beautiful. Like, I really, really liked it. And I wanted to even be darker.
I love that about her because I've known so many black women. Like, I went to Aruba with a group of black women, and one of the women actually said, I don't want to get too dark. And I was like,
it's sad for you.
And now mind you, I was the lightest person in the group, and I remember thinking how hurtful that must be to the brown skinned women in the group, because she said this. She was one of them caramel bitches. And she said this around brown skinned women. And I was like,
and people do say that around us, and they don't think of it in such a way that it's like, well damn, who am I? Like, what the fuck is too dark?
And that is one of those instances where I would understand what a brown skinned woman would feel invisible, because how could you say something like so like demonstrative about being darker. Like, I don't want to get too black. When you're next to a person who's
super weird, like it's super weird, the casual violence that dark-skinned women are just expected to just accept and be still have high self-esteem and still believe that we're beautiful and still believe that we're valued even though we're clearly not. Like, I have so many light-skinned friends, it's ridiculous.
I'm so sorry for you. We gotta do better.
I'm not just seeking out light-skinned friends. I don't know how it happened. They flocked to me.
She's very open-minded, and I know how many people, because she's very free with her posts on Facebook and her. I love that I can have this conversation with her, and it never goes to a bad place. Like, it's never like this horrible conversation where it gets super awkward. It's just literally like, we're both coming from our places of experience. We put together all the data. We analyze it our own way. And we came out with the fact that, like, colorism is bullshit. And we should probably recognize it and do less things that are harmful to other people. Like, that's what we want you to get
to have a conversation about it. Because, like, my other light-skinned friend, like, she's not my friend no more because I went off on her for something not related to, I didn't go off on her for this, but I probably should have. But, like, we're at the gym, whatever. She's a mom. She has a daughter. And so she's light-skinned, and she says to me as we're working out, she's like, I'm just so glad that my daughter didn't come out dark-skinned. And I was just like,
oh, I forgot about this.
And so I was like, well, why? Because, like, here I am. And she's like, well, no, I'm just saying because, like, she looks like me. And I'm like, uh-huh. And she's like, well, you're, like, the conversation got super awkward because I'm like, what are you fucking saying?
It should! Because why would you say that? That is fucking, like, it's emotional bullets. Like, just literally.
It's bad.
Like, literally, and, like, to hear that, every time because I block that shit out every time she tells me that stuff, because I'm like, oh, you're the reason I want to fucking just color myself in, because I hate you bitches. You're the bitches I hate. Oh.
So she's like, well, no, I'm just saying, like, obviously, like, you're beautiful, like, you're super cute. And I'm like, well, now this is weird. Like, I didn't ask you if I was cute. I know I'm fucking cute. Anyway. And she's like, it's just like, she has my features. And I was like, so do you think that you would be ugly if you were dark skinned?
Again, that trying to attain whiteness, because what you're saying is that your proximity to whiteness makes you more attractive. Super fucking creepy.
So then, she could not talk her way out of this. And I'm just like, well, now you've made the workout session awkward. And that's what I'm saying about, like, I don't think that people see me, because I'm like, why would you think that was something you need to say to your dark-skinned friend? You tell people I'm your best friend. We're best friends. And that's how you talk to me.
I've had a toxic best friend, so we've gotten it. But I will say this, like, I love that we've both grown and, like, separated from people and even family in our life that are, like, super colorist. Like, if you have that point of view, like, I have no problem stepping away from you, because it's like, I don't want that toxic energy in my life. And
it's the gaslighting for me. It's the gaslighting and foolishness for me. Like, she mentioned my Facebook posts, and there was a Facebook post that it wasn't even the post. I was commenting and I was talking to a friend of mine, and I was telling him, I'm like, yeah, my father claims that my mother was the love of his life. My mother, I look just like her. I said, but he married my light-skinned stepmother. Something's not adding up. He never married my mother. Never made for his quote-unquote time, honest woman out of her. Like, that's what the boomers do. They get married. But, no, he didn't marry my mother. He married his light-skinned, he married his light-skinned wife. And I said that to demonstrate that's another colorist thing. You love this woman so much, but you won't marry her. But you was thirsty to marry this light-skinned woman and give her your last name. And because my mother doesn't have my father's last name, I had to hear about it in school in the first fucking grade. Because my dingbat of a teacher was just like, well, how can your last name be McClellan and your mom's last name is this? And I'm just like... Because it is. Because it is.
And I'm here because my father said it would look better to the parole board if he was married, especially to a white woman. And that's what he said. And my mom got married in prison. I don't know if I can find those photos. I would love to insert them. But I was there. But yeah. And now mind you, I have 2 older siblings who he was with his high school sweetheart, who was a brown-skinned woman, who he was with forever, and my brothers are brown-skinned, but he married my mother, a white woman who was 16 years younger than him, because it looks better.
Because you want to have that good proximity to whiteness. There you go. That's probably the same thing that happened with my dad. My dad's a fucking jailbird. He was always in and out of prison. And I do recall at one point, I think my stepmother was like a CO or something like that. So like, that probably looked good for him. To be with like a light-skinned CO. But like, you know, my sister got all fucking like, wanted to fight me about it. And I'm just like, I'm tired of you fucking talking shit about light-skinned bitches. Women, you hate light-skinned women. And I'm like...
She literally all she said was that she was light skinned, not anything.
Right. And I'm tired of light skinned people acting like nobody can see that they're light skinned. Like if somebody says you're light skinned, you just fucking are. Like if somebody's like, oh, that dark skinned girl over there, I'm not gonna fucking flip out and be like, how dare you call me dark skinned? Like what?
And
it was stupid.
This is why
she got blocked.
But again, this is why I like that Twy has common sense. And like I feel like the people who will watch this and have this discussion, like there's gonna be people who are just gonna be on their bullshit. And it's just like, come at least own the shit you have with yourself. Like that's all I ask. Like I own my shit, and as I learn, I change my perspective and on things. And like, but what you're not gonna do is tell me is that colorism doesn't exist anymore in 2021. Like it's canceled.
Not when you have. Listen, the internet keeps receipts. I see how y'all talk about black people. I see the memes. I see the comparisons. I see the way you talk about dark-skinned men versus light-skinned men, dark-skinned women versus... I see how you're doing it. Everybody sees you. So for you to say, like, when I was younger and we didn't have the internet and I didn't have access to thoughts of people that I don't know, I might have would have believed you. I might have would have believed it's the people I'm putting myself around. It's just because these small town folk, they just ignorant minded. I might have would have believed you. But we have the internet and it keeps fucking receipts, and I see how you're talking about us. I fucking see you.
And it's the majority. It's not the minority. Like I feel like we know as a society that we don't value black women in general, but let's be real, the darker your skin, the less your value goes even less. Like, and that's sad. But at the end of the day, I still feel like we're in this struggle until we can talk about it and at least make some progress with ourselves. So like, before y'all start adding us.
Well, at me, because I'll sure like we could discuss it. And you know, I have had plenty of light-skinned people come in my inbox because I am a little provocative on my Facebook, and I know that you know you can say things certain ways if you want the people them to engage. So whatever. But just like when I said I don't identify with Meghan Markle as a black woman, people was all on my neck about that. But at the end of the day, we live 2 different lives. If you could throw on a blonde wig and people think that you a white woman, you don't live the same life that I live. Cause I don't give a fuck what wig I put on. Nobody thinks I'm a white woman. They never thought that. They would never think it. I can't get away with those kinds of things. So me and Megan, I don't identify with your life.
I feel like we've given you a bunch of episodes where you could get to know us and know how we think and know how we move before we got into this topic. But if this is where you leave, like, we're both fine with being like, bye. Because it's probably only going to get worse from here. Because we definitely have opinions.
But I bet you money, I just had a thought. Mm-hmm. If our show, when our show gets big, especially like this episode, I wore my green wig episode.
We have to look. I don't remember.
I think I did.
We smoked during the episode. She's asking me questions. Like, it's called Blunt Conversations. We're on our second diet.
Oh, shit, we have a logo now. Mm-hmm. Fancy. Anyway, I just want to say, watch the comments. Mm-hmm. Because I bet money on this video, there's going to be negative comments about my look.
Oh, yeah.
Especially because I have on these bright colors. You know what I mean? I have on this loud makeup. So I know that. It's coming.
Be predictable.
Sure as the sky is blue. So, also
I love that we're down here and she's tanning, and I need to. I'm
getting even darker, y'all. Like,
I'm trying.
I'm gonna show you my tan line. Okay. So,
oh yeah.
Boom.
Oh my gosh.
Look at that. This is my New York color, right here.
I have even. I'm so pale.
And this is my. If I was in Haiti, how you say it? Haiti. I wish I knew my Haitian family. But if I was there, my father is Haitian, my grandfather is Haitian. This is the color I would be. Like, I was so light skinned in New York. Ew. Not ew. That's mean, right?
See? Now she's gotta move out. No, see, but here's the thing. I'm trying to tan. I know. I'm trying to tan like I'm ever gonna catch up. It's hilarious. But I do know that in a couple more episodes, I've been working inside. In a couple more episodes, I will be a little bit more bronze.
She has tanned some since she's been down here. Because when she was at her previous gig, she was outside a lot. And like, it's already summer in Atlanta. Like, it started being summer in like April.
I love it.
But obviously, like, I love it. Like, and this was from going on 2 walks. So I'm very excited to see.
I love that she's
just how
to
deep my skin tone is going to get. I remember being little and like, I remember when Elect Weck became like a thing and she was just so dark, like her skin was so deep and everybody was on her shit and I was just like, oh, we could be on like super, super dark skin girl shit like this. Like, and I just remember how beautiful I thought her skin was so smooth. It was just like, it was like liquid. And I was like, I always told Rose, I was like, I just always feel in a lot of ways like I'm too mediocre in too many ways to be one of the popular dark skinned girls. I was like, you know, my hair is not really thick or long. My proportions aren't really wild. Like, I got big titties, but I don't have a really super big dunk. Like, I have enough. Like, I got a handful. It's not flat. Like, I'm not a flatty patty. But it's just a regular booty that is in proportion to my body. Like, it's not like, you know, them super little I ain't got a Megan Thee Stallion body. Like, I got a regular person body. Like, a bitch that grew up in Albany body.
I want Megan's body so bad.
Everybody fucking wants Megan's body. I want Megan
wear her like
I want Megan's skeleton. Yeah, like, not even her body, because I feel like if I had a better skeleton, maybe I could have a better body. Like, I need new knees.
I want to skin her and wear her.
That's morbid,
That's why we stick to one joint from now on.
I just put this into 2 episodes because this is a lot to cover. Like, we only even scratched the surface.
This will be good because it'll be 9 and 10, and then we can end the season and like.
Oh, look at her being thoughtful while we had a joint and a half in.
I mean, I do work all the time. I love it. But yeah, I definitely love.
Who doesn't want to fucking wear Megan's body? Do you see her body?
And I love her. I love her complexion. That's the thing too. Like, I can appreciate the range of beauty. I've always thought brown skinned women were beautiful. And I feel like there needs to be more appreciation of that because I don't see it in media. I remember not seeing the brown skin Cabbage Patch dolls to the end of the commercial. Like, what? It's horrible. Like,
or even just the way if they do let there be a dark skinned character, like, or they do have dark skinned people.
She's so cliche.
It's just always much. Like, and
it's always one note. I hate it.
Especially growing up, like, we're 80s babies. So, like, because I grew up in, like, I was very well versed in black culture. So, like, I remember one of the first movies that I saw in the theater was House Party. And I love that movie to this day. I fucking love House Party.
You know, when you compare it to Tisha Campbell and
even if we don't talk about the girls, let's talk about the boys. Oh. Like, how they portrayed kid versus play. The light-skinned boy versus the dark-skinned boy. You know what I mean? The light-skinned boy being kind of soft, being bullied, you know what I mean? Like, not really up with the ladies. And then they have this dark-skinned boy. He's so suave. He's so smooth. He got all the ladies. He's a ladies' man. So they're really, like, they're already doing, like, the dark and handsome, mysterious, like, bad boy character. Like, and I remember being young and being, like, thinking that play was cute. Like, I'm like, play is cute. Like, kid is cute, but play is cute. Like, play is fine. Like, play dresses, okay? When play got to the party. Anyway.
If any of you motherfuckers say I look like that bitch, I swear to God, I will block you. I hate it.
So that you won't be able to hear.
That is like, why is that the only light skin reference you, in 20 years?
You want to know why? Because of the fucking copy paste. Just like there were 7 of them bitches in there that all look the same. They want every light-skinned bitch to look the same. And she don't. Like, she don't.
I'll never forget, I was hosting an event and a politician walked up to me and, like, he was trying to be, like, suave. He was like, you look like Tisha Campbell. And I was like, what year? Because, like, is that an insult? And he just didn't know what to say, but I was like, stop saying that to me.
Are we talking about School Days Tisha because she was cute? Are we talking about Martin Tisha because which Tisha we talking about?
Honestly, I never really thought she was that cute. Like, I never got it. Like, I never was like, I don't know.
I mean, honestly, remember when we was like watching P-Valley and Mercedes was like, all she do is sit up there and be light-skinned. And then Uncle Clifford was like, bitch, that's what light-skinned bitches do. Like, that's all you really have to do is be light-skinned. Mm-hmm. And then you get to be Tisha Campbell. And everybody's, like, you get cast in every movie for black people in the 80s and 90s into the 2000s.
I definitely just got my first callback for a gig. And like, all I did was send my headshot. So it's not because I'm a great actor. They must have just needed a copy-paste light-skinned bitch, and I'm gonna take that money and pay these bills.
Goddamn right. As you should.
Insert Cash App.
But yeah, but then how you have in House Party, Shireen, and what the fuck is Tisha Campbell's character name?
I don't know. Not
Shireen. Not Lisa. And I feel like it's fuck. I should know this. This
are we gonna have to go to Google?
We might have to Google it.
Can we edit this out?
Sydney. God damn it. And we're back.
Sorry, Sydney.
So you have Sydney and you have Shireen. Sydney from her 2-parent household in the suburbs. And they even talk about it in the movie. Like, when Play is telling Kid, you should definitely go for Sydney. Because Shireen, she live in the projects. You know what that means. Somebody's always home. And then when you go to Shireen's house, it's a typical fucking hood rat ass house. They try to make Shireen out like a hood rat, but she never seemed like a hood rat to me. I always thought Shireen's outfit was so cute, and I liked her hair, and she was dark skinned like me, and she was all sassy, so I always just liked Shireen, and I never, when I was little, I didn't really pick up on the way that they had it presented, but as an adult now, and the way people expect me to be a hood rat all the time, I'm like,
And we both can be hood rats. Don't get
And
it
I
twisted.
am a hood rat, but like, it's not because I'm dark skinned. It's because I grew up in the hood.
It's just real poor and trashy.
They got Sheree in the project with everybody in her house with the Kool-Aid. Like, it was just, they laid it on so thick. It was very stereotypy.
That's the thing too. Since we're talking a little bit about colorism, like, I know we'll get into like movies at some point, but like that was a thing for me growing up. Like, the fact that I didn't like black movies because I always thought they were like so overtly racist. Like in their casting, I was like, are white people like, who's making this? Because this feels like a Popeyes commercial. Like the whole thing. And I was always like, that when black people love so many, I would be like, why? Again, this is when y'all want to make me. I don't like it. That's not the vibe I like. But yeah.
And there's a lot of racist shit that goes on in black movies. Like, it's much.
There's always some light skin. Like, I feel like you and I look like every fucking black movie. Like, we kind of...
This is like the typical like rat. I guess I would be a ratchet right now. Like, remember when I asked you if I was the big booty hood rat in the situation?
Oh my god!
And I was like, I was appalled. I was like, oh my god, Rose. I said, am I the big booty hood rat here this time?
And I was like, yeah.
And she was like, and I was like, Rose. And she was like, I'm thinking.
I wasn't gonna lie.
Yeah. And I was like, wow. And it was weird to like be in that moment and be present and realize that a nigga sees you as a big booty hood rat. It was weird.
It was weird to observe. I was like, it was like, why? And again, I watch it. I tend to see what's going on around me. I don't know why a lot of you fucking dumb motherfuckers just have, the world will be happening and y'all will be oblivious. But I'm always like, bullets. Like every single time. Because I'm not always comfortable because I grew up being the only black person. Like, it's exhausting. And like, I don't always want to be the person in the room going, you can't say that. But there are times where I feel like if I don't say that, then I'm at least not trying to be a good human being, because you idiots insist on being colorist in my presence to my friends, and it's just like, But I will say, since we've been in Atlanta, we've gone out, and can we talk about the experience of that happened where we went to a club and a dude was so,
oh my god, it was like being in opposite worlds. Like, say everybody loved dark-skinned girls, because we're at this bar. First of all, this dude was such a weirdo, and he was like a short nigga, and like sometimes I had on my really, really tall heels, so I was really tall. She
was taller than me.
I had to be like at least 6 foot. So, you know how sometimes short niggas like, they be like, oh, I like tall girls, whatever.
She also had like a little mini dom out, like dom.
Yeah, I was serving. So he comes up to me, and he comes in between Rose and I. We're at the bar, and he looks at me, and he's like all intense, and then he looks at Rose, and then he looks back at me, and he's like, I don't like light-skinned girls. And I was like, I mean, it don't gotta be all that. That's literally what I said, because I just didn't even know what to say.
Literally, I'm just existing at the bar, having my drink, waiting for my food. But here's the thing, like, I know what he was doing. Like, what he was doing, which is super fucking weird and creepy, that a lot of you black men do, was he was saying, I'm not like most black men. I don't like the light-skinned girl. I'm into you. I don't know why he just couldn't say, you're a pretty, beautiful chocolate goddess or some other shit. Niggas take a lesson. But it
was weird. Like, when we got in the car, we were talking about it, and I was just like, I mean, what was I supposed to say back to that? Like, oh my God, you like, what do you want me to say, sir? I said he would have been better off saying something about me. I was like, why would he come up to me and start talking to me about how he don't like you?
It's weird. It's a totally weird vibe.
And if you're on the side of that because you're a light-skinned woman and you don't react like that, that's weird. That's weird. That's really weird.
That would be like, you know, if someone came up to me and was super talking about how I was light-skinned, I leaned into it. I think it's super creepy. Don't do that. Like, you can like me because I'm attractive. Like, that's fine. It's there. But if you're hyper focused on the fact that my skin is light, like, I'm gonna tell you, I'm sorry for you. Like, get a hobby.
It's a weird way to be. So yeah, like when that happened to me, and I that rarely happens to me, where somebody's like, let me be weird about how
I love that we've had these experiences, and it's not like, I feel like people make them up. Like,
yeah, and so like I was like, well, I didn't like that. I was like, I don't want that. I don't want that either. I don't want you to be vehemently against light-skinned women. That's a weird vibe too. I just want everybody to be fucking cool, because it doesn't matter what your skin tone is.
At the end of the day,
either you're gonna be cute or you're not gonna be cute. Like, it's literally just that. It has nothing to do with your skin tone. It has to do with your bone structure.
I feel like that's where we can unify. I think we need to
start... Can we unify on bone structure?
Can we just start hating ugly people? Can we just, like, that?
No. Can we just start... Okay, this is something that I said.
I'm getting more morbid as the joint's getting...
I was like, you know what? I think it's time for us to talk about the fact that some people are not as physically attractive as other people. And I was like, and if you're not attractive, then you need to accept that that's not something that's in your toolbox. It's literally just a tool. It's you're no better or no worse than anybody else if you're not physically attractive. It just means you don't have that particular tool in your toolbox. So you need to do what? You need to develop a personality. You need to develop a sense of style. You need to develop a hobby. You need to do things that pretty people may not necessarily need to do. And that's not fair, but that's life. Like, if you pretty, then there's some shit that you could rest on your laurels if you wanted to and just be a pretty face in the crowd.
We don't, and we talk about this often. Like, we really do talk about the fact that we know that looks are fleeting. Like, we're all gonna get old, and like, it doesn't matter how good you look right now, or what and how tan you are, or what. It doesn't matter, because you're gonna get old, and someone's gonna wipe your ass. I want you to think about that tonight. Someone's gonna have to wipe your ass.
I hope I have all
my.
It's
gonna happen.
You know,
I've known too many seniors. It's gonna happen.
Some people have their faculties as they age. I hope I'm one of those people.
You don't even have your knees in your 30s. All I'm saying is
I'm not trying to be elderly but I really do have bad knees. They're terrible. I can't even go for a walk, y'all. I'm trying to lose this weight I put on this weight. I can't be fat and hot. Oh. It's too much.
And like, as she's like, oh, I can't be, I'm like, I gotta finish cooking dinner.
Bitch made cornbread. I'm definitely gonna eat some.
Don't tell me I'm not black.
but I ain't nothing else today. So I'm gonna have like some chicken
and I'm gonna fry some plantains.
And some plantain. Yeah. We're gonna live our best lives. I can't believe. Anyway, I think. All right, I think we need to wrap it up soon, because I'm starting to spiral. And I also want to take this wig off, and I also want to take this glitter lip off. So I was gonna like.
I love the eye. So is that a rose in the eye?
Yes, that's a rose.
Because I've been trying
I'm
not
getting
to
a
be
little
super
shiny because I've had my makeup on for a while. But y'all, whatever. I still think it's cute.
It's so cute.
The face goddess. The face goddess.
But yeah, we're gonna end this episode. I think we'll make it 2 episodes.
We might split it in half or something like that. We'll try to find a good halfway point, and if we don't, then we'll just split it in someplace random, like mid-sentence, so you have to tune into the second part.
She's editing, so like,
I don't know what the fuck I'm doing. If these episodes are like kind of slaw compared to what you're used to seeing on YouTube, it's because I'm not a video editor. I'm a fucking makeup artist. So I'm doing the best I can. Give me some grace.
I hope aliens find us. Anyway, yeah, before we spiral.
Didn't we already spiral?
Blunt conversations.
Episode whatever the fuck.
Whatever. But yeah, I think that
keeping count.
This
Just
is like a great first
us.
like season. I really have been proud of this and like proud of us, and we've done a great job. And I know you have by this point you've seen us in all
congratulate yourself, bitch, because that's what you do. If you don't believe in you, who else will?
No,
we're gonna put this out in the world and let it do what it does because we believe in it. These are our thoughts, and I mean, this is the type of shit that we talk about.
We are just gonna just be ourselves. I feel like that's just the most freeing part of this, and I feel like, you know, despite colorism, despite, you know, fucking money and everything else, I think if everyone could just lean into that.
Right. Do what makes you happy. Worry about living your best life, whatever that means for you. As long as it's not like rape, murder, molestation, stuff like that. Cut it the fuck out. But like, do what makes you happy. Find your dream lover. Be your dream lover. And I think like that would make things better if you did that instead of like minding other people's business.
But we had a first.
I feel like that was sassy for no reason.
But we had a first great year in Georgia. We're gonna do blackout camp out. I wanna kill. I mean a pottery wheel. We got some other stuff to get, but I want a pottery wheel. But like that's the thing. Like we're gonna go live our best lives, and then we'll come back with more episodes, and you'll see what happened. And by then, like, I'm sure she'll be a chocolate goddess, and like I'll be bronze. It's not even cherry season yet. Y'all only see shit from us. Like,
and I'm already, look at my skin, yo. I'm already getting this chocolate. I love it. We got a deck. I gotta get these boobies some sunshine.
I'm gonna get my weird marshmallow legs some sunshine too. So we're gonna be out there top and bottom with accents. This is not helping the neighbors not think that we're lesbian. Also, you know what? I just realized that you have like that rainbow "We're Strong" on the back of your car.
I sure do.
And I really like by the weed whacker.
They can think what they want.
We like dick.
Very much.
Alright. I feel like that's a good place to end this.
Alright, y'all. Later.
Alright, everything good ends with dick.
That makes it a 5-star day.